Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
How's your day going?
Going good, thank you, yes.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Bronco Nation, when I score, Jackson pours. Each game I score a touchdown, head to Jackson's on Monday for a 49-cent fountain drink with Let's Go rewards. And don't forget your free banana, Jackson's. Let's go.
It's the all-wheel drive event at Lithia Ford of Boise. From hunting trips to ski trips to trips to Grandma's house. Nobody does AWD like LFB. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. Game time is approaching, and we're getting you ready with the latest pregame news, interviews, analysis, and more from BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Have a pregame score prediction or comment? Let us know in the ICCU YouTube chat or leave us a message on the Signature Roofing voice box at speakpipe.com/BNN. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud sponsor of Boise State Athletics and proud to support our student athletes through exciting NIL partnerships. From the blue turf to wherever life takes you, Lithia Ford of Boise is here to get you there. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. The title sponsor of Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. For all your painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation, welcome on in. As you can see, I am not BJ Rains. I am Nathan Carroll coming to you live from the Sun Cruiser Studios. We are not Nevada Day. For those of you who didn't see, BJ Rains is at his brother-in-law's wedding, so I'm stepping in, filling in tonight. We're about 27 minutes from tip-off between Boise State and Nevada to open Mountain West play. One final season of Mountain West play for the Broncos, kicking it off against longtime rivals Nevada, who for the first time in a long time will not be joining the Broncos when they move to the Pac-12. It's the start of conference season, and Boise State with some ups, with some downs, comes out of it 8-3 in non-conference play and is looking to handle business and make a run at the NCAA tournament here, getting into Mountain West play. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Like I said, we're here from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Got a Sun Cruiser right here. Real iced tea, real lemonade, real vodka. Go and get yourself a Sun Cruiser and enjoy one for the game here. As you can see, my Sun Cruiser studio is not quite as nice as BJ's, but we're making do with what we've got. I know looks like Mr. Buchanan's in here. I know he's excited to watch his son Javen take on Nevada tonight. We got Bill watching from Minnesota. As Redbeard Headset says, it's always a good day to beat Nevada. And one last chance to go get a win in Lawler and beat the Wolfpack, 2 words, in Reno. Last time, at least for a while, that Boise State's going to be taking on Nevada in basketball. Now, who knows if that's one of those games that they decide to schedule and keep going once they make the move to the Pac-12. But first time at least for now that the Broncos get to take on the Wolfpack. Pretty historic rivalry between those two. So get your thoughts, get your comments in the chat. Let's chat about the game. We got about 25 minutes here before tip-off. We'll dive into all things. We'll talk a little bit about Boise State's at-large picture, where they sit. Talk a little bit about the Mountain West. Where's Boise State sit in the Mountain West? Are in the middle of the pack? Are they top? Are they favorites? Where are they at? We'll chat a little bit about the team, some injury updates for Nevada, which is going to be notable. And then, like I said, get your score predictions in there as well. Big thank you to Lithia Ford of Boise for hosting the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show with us. If you haven't already, go down to Lithia Ford of Boise, get yourself a new ride. They've got great cars there. I know BJ got hooked up there at Lithia Ford of Boise, and his family's for the better with the ride that they got there with our friends at Lithia Ford of Boise. So Boise State taking on Nevada, like I said, to open conference play. For those of you who haven't stayed up to date on the Wolfpack, Steve Alford in Reno. It's been an interesting season for the Wolfpack. They are also 8-3 coming into conference play, but a little bit, you could say, a less impressive 8-3. They also, like Boise State, have a disappointing loss in the UC Davis game, but some losses to Washington and Santa Clara as well that have not necessarily aged well for the Wolfpack. In particular, that Washington game. Washington lost last night to Seattle. Seattle U, not Gonzaga, not Washington State, not Eastern Washington. Seattle U lost by 4 last night. So that Washington loss is aging poorly for the Wolfpack. But they do have a couple of notable wins on the docket. They beat UC San Diego, who's playing really good basketball again this year. Blew out San Francisco in a neutral site game. And this is a team that started the season a little bit slow. At their worst, sat at about 113 in KenPom, but have steadily risen over the last few games. They now come into this game sitting 91st in KenPom. KenPom does have Boise State as a 2-point favorite in this game. I don't know, maybe somebody in the chat can let me know. I think when I saw the line this morning, it was sitting at Boise State 3.5, but I don't know how that has moved as the day has gone along. And so for Boise State, going to be a matter of going on the road, which is always hard to do, especially in Mountain West play, and taking care of a pretty solid Nevada team. In the context of the conference, Nevada probably not going to be one of the favorites. They're not going to be one of the teams that's competing for a 1 seed at the end of the season. But I think that there's a good chance that Nevada is going to be in the mix somewhere in that maybe 4 to 6 range, right? It seems right now that within the Mountain West, there's kind of a top 3 that's emerged a little bit, and then a group of about 6 or 7 teams behind them, kind of all jumbled together. For those of you guys who didn't see, one of the teams at the top of the picture right now is Utah State, which seems to be the prohibitive favorite in the Mountain West after their win today. 10-1, they beat Colorado State 100-58. A 42-point victory over the Rams, a Rams team that I think most people thought would be pretty good, and they've been playing pretty decent basketball, and the Aggies just absolutely obliterated them. But the Broncos are currently sitting somewhere in that picture of maybe second or third, depending on how you feel about San Diego State, where you project them, despite some of the disappointing starts. Obviously, the season opening loss to Hawaii Pacific soured this team for a lot of fans, but Leon Rice and the squad has done a tremendous job of bouncing back, building off that loss, and putting themselves into a good position They're 8-3. The 2 losses since that Hawaii Pacific game were in Maui against USC and NC State, 2 games that are currently sitting as quad 1 games. But the Broncos were able to grab a couple of key quad 1 victories along the way on the road at Butler, and then last weekend taking down St. Mary's in Idaho Falls. Both of those games currently sitting as quad 1 wins. And despite the Hawaii Pacific loss, the Broncos 0 losses in quad 2, quad 3, and quad 4, putting themselves in position that Joe Lenardi in his bracket update this morning had Boise State in his field of 68. That's right. According to Joe Lenardi, if the season ended today, the Broncos would be dancing. Now, it's sort of an unprecedented situation with Boise State losing to a Division II opponent. The last non-D1 loss, the last team with a non-D1 loss to get an at-large bid, you have to go all the way back to 1989 in the Michigan Wolverines, who lost to Alaska Fairbanks and ended up getting a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. Now, for you historians out there, you'll see it's that Michigan team also went on to win the national championship. So if Boise State makes it, the history shows maybe this team's ready to go on a tear and win the national championship. I say it tongue in cheek, obviously, but got some score predictions in here. Broncos 74-65, Jennifer saying 81-67, Spencer saying 73-62. I think we had a couple of more in here as well. Got score prediction 75-68. Hey, and good to see you too. Giving you a break from BJ. He's getting a break from you guys as well. I know he's with family, celebrating a marriage this weekend, but I'm sure he'll have a nice little mental health break, not having to deal with all you rascals. I say that with love, of course. You guys are great. Thanks for coming in and joining us and supporting. 80-68 for Boise. Part of why I bring up the score predictions early in this one, for those of you guys who read our article over at BroncoNationNews.com, now members of the 24/7 Sports family. If you aren't already, go subscribe. We've got great content coming there. We'll have post-game coverage coming to you as well after this game. But I put Boise State to win 71-62. But part of that was that going into the last game, 2 key players, 2 starters for Nevada were listed questionable. And it seemed like they'd be on the fence whether or not they were going to be able to play today. That is Corey Camper Jr. and Joel Armo trading. Word came out this morning. Both of those 2 players are out for the Wolfpack. So Nevada going to be without 2 key starters. Those 2 haven't played. Camper in particular hasn't played the last 2 games. Armo trading has not played in the last 4 games. And while they are 4-0 in those 4 games, I think as of late, not always super impressive in some of those wins. Even just going back to last Saturday, Nevada played Duquesne. Now you will remember Duquesne is the team that Boise State about 10 days ago beat 86-64. Won by 22 points. The Dukes then went down to Reno after playing Boise and put up a fight with UNR. Put up a fight with the Wolfpack. It was 78-75. Real close game late into the game, and Nevada was able to pull out with a win there. So being down those 2 players, I do think makes a significant difference. And that line, Ken Palm sees it as a 2-point game. It sounds like the line is currently sitting at 3 points. According to a Football Wise Guy. Thank you for joining us and dropping that knowledge in there for us. I appreciate it. That's one that I think with those 2 guys out, I would trend towards this game going Boise State's way without a doubt. That's 2 big losses. Camper in particular is their leading scorer on the season. Believe averaging 15.9 points per game. If my memory serves correct. Yeah, 15.9 points per game. Armo trading, not like a high level score, 6 points, 5 rebounds, but averaging 1.3 blocks per game. Really good defensive player and just kind of a glue guy for Nevada. So 2 major losses that Nevada won't be getting in this game. And if you're Boise State, I do think it means an opportunity, particularly for Drew Fielder, to come out and put up a really good offensive performance. Obviously, Drew Fielder's been sort of the go-to guy for the Broncos as of late. He's the one that they've been running a lot of the offense through. Had 22 points against St. Mary's, had 23 points against Duquesne, 16 against Butler. He's really come on as of late as sort of the go-to guy for the Broncos offensively. And he's doing that playing just 20 minutes per game over the last 3 games. It's not like he's out there for 38 minutes like a Tyson Dagenhart was. His usage has stayed fairly low, and in those minutes he's been exceptionally efficient with them. So that's a player to watch. Certainly for me is Drew Fielder with Armo Trading being out for Nevada. It's interesting. No UNR predictions. Nobody predicted Nevada to win in our chat. I guess the Bronco Nation News, the ICCU YouTube chat, nobody picking Nevada. I guess it's a bunch of Bronco fans in here. Yeah, Boise State looking to get off to a 1-0 start in Mountain West play. Talked a little bit about the at-large resume and where they're at now, and had some questions on Twitter of, okay, this is where they are at now. That's great, but what does Boise State need to do to take care of business and get themselves into the field? Despite the sky is falling people that we got early in the season, after that loss one, we had a lot of people saying season's over, at-large hopes are dead. And we had to pretty consistently remind people, guys, this isn't football. One loss does not end your season. And sure enough, Boise State sitting at 8-3 has a good chance to play themselves into the tournament here. Now, part of the issue is the Mountain West is not in a very good spot. A lot of teams in the league have taken bad losses or even multiple bad losses. San Diego State, who was, kind of projected as a top 30 team in the country coming into the year, was the unanimous selection to win the league, which I believe is the first time that's happened since 2021 when Utah State was picked to win the league. And as I think Brian Dutcher at Media Days noted, yeah, but that was still COVID affected games. It doesn't feel real. It almost doesn't count anyways. San Diego State took a quad 3 home loss to Troy. Grand Canyon, who was picked 4th to finish in the league and was sort of regarded as the sleeper to win the conference this year, 0-3 in quad 1 and quad 2 games. They lost at home to Youngstown State, who's currently sitting at 165th in Ken Palm. Colorado State picked up a quad 4 loss to Denver, who's sitting in the 300s. Then obviously, Colorado State losing by 40 plus to Utah State. Their at-large hopes are dwindling quickly. And even Nevada, like I said, they had that loss to UC Davis. That's currently sitting at a quad 4 loss for the Wolfpack. Most of the league has taken bad losses, which, unlike in past years where we've been looking at a 3, 4, 5 bid Mountain West is in danger of being a 2 or even a 1 big league with the way some of these teams have played this year. So for Boise State, it means the margins are a lot thinner. Not going to be able to go 13-7, for example, and get in that large bid. Or I believe in 2023, the Broncos went 13-5 and grabbed an at-large bid. In talking with some bracketologists, some people who do this, not for a living per se, but as a full-time hobby, the consensus I've gotten back is somewhere around 15-5 is the bubble spot. If Boise State can go 15-5 in Mountain West play, they should put themselves in a good position. And then even beyond that, I think 16-4 is probably the spot that going down into Vegas, Boise State should be in safely. Now, I know a lot of conspiracy theorists within Bronco Nation, that they're always going to do what they can to keep the little guy out. They're always going to try to hurt the Mountain West as much as they can. 16-4, I think, gets you safely in the field, even with some of the chaos that there may be. So, P. Silly saying undefeated in conference. Yeah, can't hurt. And I know, especially the way Boise State's been treated in recent years, going undefeated in conference play is probably the best way to guarantee your spot there. And yeah, Ben Welch saying after the last couple of years won't feel safe. Certainly fair, but that's, in talking to those guys, 16-4 seems like a mark that you should feel safe getting into the field. Now, went through Bart Torvik. He has what they call, or what he calls, I should say, his team cast. I don't know if you'd call it like a metric or a tool, I guess would probably be the best way to describe it. Essentially, based on given records, what's the likelihood that you make the tournament? What's your likeliest record? Those sorts of things, or what's your likeliest seed? I believe at 16-4 is when he had Boise State sitting as like a 7 or an 8 seed. And so, one, it looks to me like it's not totally factoring in the Q2 loss or the D2 loss nature of that Hawaii Pacific game, which, again, in talking to people, probably going to cost Boise State a seed line or 2 if they do get to that point. So if he's saying, 7 or 8 seed, give them 2 seed lines for the D2 loss. Now you're a 9 seed, dock them an additional seed because of just, Mountain West bias and having a conspiracy. Even then, 16-4 should get you into the dance. So that's going to be the goal for Boise State. And it sounds daunting, but certainly possible. Ken Palm has the Broncos projected at 13-7 in Mountain West play. And the reality is, with the conference not being that strong, there's just not a lot of marquee games this year. In past years in the conference, we've looked at the league and said, yeah, pretty much every single game you're going to get has quad 1 or quad 2 potential. Just not the case with the Mountain West this year. Ken Palm sort of has his own quad 1 projection, because obviously we don't know where teams will land, but hey, where are we projecting some of these teams will land? Currently just projecting 5 quad 1 games for Boise State in conference play. And that's even up because of that, believe because of the Utah State win. Yeah, the Utah State home game is now being projected as a quad 1 game as well. And then just 4 quad 2 games. So not a lot of marquee opportunities, but that means for the Broncos, if you can take care of business in those quad 3, quad 4 games, you got to go 5-4. Just got to grab a winning record in those quad 1 and quad 2 opportunities, which the way this team is playing is certainly on the table. I mean, you beat St. Mary's and Idaho Falls. You take down Butler fairly convincingly in a true road game against the Bulldogs. This team's starting to play really good basketball since coming back from Maui. And even in Maui, I thought they played fairly well. The USC game was one of this team's better performances, despite it being a loss. The NC State game, not quite as strong of a performance, but I think the team learned a lot about themselves in that 3-day stretch. And I think one of the things that they really learned is this isn't a team that should be relying on the 3 ball. This is a team that, as much as possible, should be trying to get into the paint, get to the basket, and use their size and athleticism to try to finish around the rim. Don't have the exact numbers pulled up in front of me anymore, but I know at one point this season, in their worst performances, which I would consider the NC State game, the Hawaii Pacific game, the Montana State game, in those performances, they were taking about 50% of their shots from 3. In the wins and their best performances, so even including the USC game, that's down closer to about 30% of their shots from 3. One of the things that I've been pretty strong on is this team's going to be at their best when they're able to get the ball inside instead of just settling for threes. There's guys on this team that can hit threes. Pearson Carmichael has come on really strong as of late and is starting to knock down threes at a really high clip. He's sitting at 45.5% now on the season. But a lot of those threes, a lot of those ones that are going in, are ones that are coming off of rhythm, coming off of driving kicks. It's not the just, hey, we're moving the ball around, let's settle for a step back 3. Those aren't the ones that have been falling for this team. And when they've gotten inside, gotten to the basket, good things have happened for this team. So, and it seems like Leon Rice has noticed that, and it seems like they're making a concerted effort to try to build that way. So that'll be one of the keys tonight for me for Boise State if they're gonna knock off Nevada. If you're taking 30 threes against Nevada, I don't think that's the game plan that you necessarily want to be taking. Now, with that said, Nevada has not been a great 3-point defense this year. They're giving up 34.5% of all. Allowing teams to shoot, 34.5% from 3 this year. That's 220th in the country. So they haven't been great at stopping the 3 ball. So this is an opportunity for Boise State that, I guess, if you're going to get hot, it's a team that you can get hot against. Another thing to note with this Nevada team, they take a lot of mid-range jumpers. They're one of the lowest 3-point rates in the country. Just 30% of all shots come from 3-point range, and that's total. You know, I talked about how Boise State would probably like to be at about 30%. They're still hovering right around 39%. Nevada, they do not take a lot of threes, and as a product of that, they're willing, Steve Alford, he's old school. He'll let his team take mid-range jumpers, and they'll take a lot of them, and as a consequence of that, they shoot just 45% from 2-point range. That is 327th nationally. So I think those are going to be 2 big keys for the Broncos is you don't need to take a lot of threes, but the one you take have to go in, and then if Nevada's going to, shoot a bunch of mid-range shots, let them and figure out a way to run them off the 3-point line because they are a good 3-point shooting team. They don't take a lot, but when they do, they get good looks. They're shooting just under 37% from 3 this season. So that's sort of my analysis on the game. That's what I have on it. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on Boise State's game tonight? Most of you guys picking wins for the Broncos, 71-62, 67-61. But what are your analysis? Have you guys watched Nevada this year? How are you feeling about Boise State? Do you think 16-4 in conference play, is that on the table? Is it not? Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the ICCU YouTube chat. Again, coming to you live from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Get yourself a Sun Cruiser. Enjoy one while we've got this game. It's going to be a late one, but I guess the good news is most of you probably won't have to be checking a second screen to keep up on the score of the James Madison Oregon game. That one looks just about finished. So, but who knows? Maybe they pull off a comeback. Shane asking, he's in now I don't know if that's San Diego or South Dakota, but I'm assuming South Dakota. Where can you watch the game? Should be on the Mountain West Network tonight. Mountain West Network. So again, last time in the Mountain West, last Mountain West opener for the Broncos, which means going to be your last season more than likely tuning into games on the Mountain West Network. And I don't know about you guys. I always pull it up on my. I got the app on my phone and then just live cast it to the TV. It seems the best way to do it for me. So I'll be at home watching with you guys, and we'll go live right after the game as close as we can to after the game. So and then if we get a win, maybe get Leon Rice, maybe get some players on. It's going to be good. Might be a little bit more laid back stream. Maybe open up a cold one and we'll enjoy and talk Boise State basketball and dig into the win and dig into the rest of the season. But we talked about if you take care of business in your Q3, Q4 games, you just got to go 5-4 and in those top tier, those Q1 and Q2 games. And this is likely a quad 2 opportunity for Boise State on the road against Nevada. Now, Nevada's close enough that if they go on a run here, this could end up as a quad 1 game. Regardless, though, I think this is one of those ones. If you can start off with a win here, you give yourself some grace down the stretch where you just have to go 4-4 against the top of the conference. I think that puts Boise State in a really good spot to potentially put themselves into the tournament bracket, which again, what an insane thing to say. I don't think any of us would have been sitting here saying that in November after that Hawaii Pacific game. But that's where they at. This team has bounced back. They've turned around tremendously. The defense has really, really picked up. They rebound at a really high level, currently sitting 4th in defensive rebounding rate nationally. Drew Fielder's really come along. I've been really impressed with Javen Buchanan. Now, I'm a Javen Buchanan guy. You guys have been following for a while, know that. I've been a big believer in his game. Just steady. I felt like that St. Mary's game was just kind of the what we're going to see a lot of Javen Buchanan out of this year. 11 points, 7 rebounds, just 1 turnover, didn't really turn the ball over, shot an efficient 4 of 7 from the field, just a steady presence for the Broncos, led the team in minutes, played 32 minutes that game. And I think this is a game most of you guys remember last year when Boise State played at Nevada, that kind of became a little bit of the Javen Buchanan game. Had the game-winning steal that ended up sealing that 70-69 win. He had 17 points in that game, went 3 of 3 from 3, had 3 steals in total in that game. Like, obviously, we found out in the offseason he was dealing with some injuries, and that was one of those days where he was looking really, really healthy and played at a really high level against Nevada down in Reno last year. So I know I've given you guys a few players to watch, but there's one more for you is Javen Buchanan having a good night tonight. But we got some other shout outs. Nate, how you doing, Nate? My guy saying Dynamite Drew going to get 21 points tonight. Now, one thing with Drew Fielder, he is Boise State let us know this. He leads the nation in 20-point games while playing 25 minutes or less. He's done it 4 times this year. He scored 20 points while playing 25 minutes or less. So Dynamite Drew, if he gets 21 tonight, is he doing it in less than 25 minutes? And if so, that bumps him up to 5 and increases his lead on that particular statistic. So RJ, so fun to watch. Jim Buchanan will have a big game tonight. I love it. Get your thoughts, get your predictions in. We are about 2 minutes from tip-off when it looks like James Madison just scored a touchdown. Maybe we do have a game. Maybe we do have a game on our hands. Drew will be Mountain West Player of the Year. How about that? That's quite a prediction from the stable. I like that one. I like that one with Drew Fielder being Mountain West Player of the Year this year. So we'll see it. It'll be a good game. It'll be a good matchup. I think Boise State Like I said, I think some of the keys: get the ball inside, continue to pound the paint, and use Drew Fielder, use Javen Buchanan, even a guy like Dylan Andrews, who hasn't been super efficient in the interior. His ability to get downhill is opening up offensive rebounds and getting to the free throw line. Continue to attack the paint. I think when you do take your threes, you got to hit them. Obviously, that's a key most games. But one other thing I'm looking at, Nevada does not turn the ball over, and this will be my last note, and then we'll ship you guys off to watch the game. Nevada's 8th nationally in turnover rate offensively, in terms of how little they turn the ball over. This team protect the basketball. They don't turn it over. I think that's one thing. If you're Boise State, if you can force some turnovers tonight, get them out of their comfort zone, I think there's a good chance that you're going to be able to pull off the win and start 1-0 Mountain West play. So my prediction in the column was 71-62 at the time. Did not know whether Corey Camper or starting forward Joel Armo-Trading would be able to go. If you're just joining us, both starting wing Corey Camper and starting forward Joel Armo-Trading will not go for the Wolfpack tonight. They will be down 2 starters. So I'm going to adjust slightly. I'm going to say Boise State wins 75-60. I think Leon and the Broncos have a big time night. Look at that stable. Pretty much identical predictions. I love it. I think they have the Broncos have a big game tonight. I think we're coming back here in about 2.5 hours. Feeling very good about the performance and have a lot of good things to talk about. So I've been Nathan Carroll. This has been the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Tip off here any moment, coming to you live from the Sun Cruiser Studios. We will see you guys at the post game show. Enjoy the game, and we will talk to you guys.